making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath.
Ooh.
This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building.
Ooh.
Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, what we do is we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, Facebook, IG, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button, and you guys are really helping us push us in the algorithm, man. Right now I know we're small, but we continue to grow, man. We're gonna be up there, so continue to do that. We're on our way. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
Facts that you wish you never knew.
Okay.
Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Xiao Bao who was lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation.
Ooh.
If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000.
Free money?
But to this day, no one has ever made it through. The little girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, who then committed suicide. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
What the hell in COD?
This is
Come
what
on, be
your
better.
poems actually mean. Put your hands together and analyze which line pattern you have. Number
Okay.
1, if your left-hand line is lower, this means you're independent and don't care what other people think of you. You keep your opinion to yourself, which is why you'll become wise one day. Number 2, if your left-hand line is higher, it means you're a super adventurous person. You're extremely confident and don't need to rush into relationships. And you can become anything because you're super independent.
Really?
Number 3, if your lines are the same, this means you're strong-minded and charming. You're gentle, sensitive, and care what other people think.
Okay, Seekers, what line do you have? I'm number 3. Mine's matched, so I think I have some of those qualities she has. But tell me down below, man. You guys 1, 2, or 3 when it comes to the palm lines, bro. I'm definitely in the middle. So it's just the facts we learned today. Tap in with us. What? An oil? People have to be better, man. Plain and simple.
3 facts that could save your life, part 4. If you ever disturb a wasp's nest, don't run for the water. The wasps are so smart they'll wait for you to resurface and then continue to sting you. If you're ever buried in an avalanche, you must spit. Your saliva will follow the gravity and you can dig the opposite way, making it easier to get out. Do you ever struggle in school, especially in math? All you have to do is take a picture of your math problem, and GothMath shows you exactly step by step on how it got the answer and the answer itself. Just in case your teacher is extremely annoying with asking you to show your work. The link is in my bio and it's completely free.
Y'all need to hit that up, man. If I ever have some problems with math, that got me through a couple of rough times and some rough spots in math, I highly recommend it, man. See my ass been on one or more occasion, bro, especially when it came to math. We all been there. Edit. We've been doing this for a minute, so we can definitely just call them out now when we see it.
How rare is your body? Only 5% of people have blonde hair, and the most common hair in the world is black. And only 7% of the world is capable of tickling themselves. And 25% of people automatically sneeze when they look up at the sun. And only 1% of people have vitiligo. This is a skin condition which allows areas to lose pigment, which causes them to become different colors. And 20% of people have one pupil bigger than the other. And 91.6% of people have a clockwise hair whirl.
This boy claimed he remembered his past life until his parents discovered he wasn't lying. A Syrian boy named Arius was born with a particular red birthmark on his face. As soon as he could speak, he explained to his parents that he had already lived another life as a different man, claiming he was actually murdered with an axe by his own neighbor. Turns out, a man had actually gone missing in their village years earlier, and the neighbor was the prime suspect. So Arius and his parents went to the neighbor's house to find out the truth. When the neighbor opened the door, he turned white as a ghost, claiming he was innocent. But Arius demanded the neighbor come with him, because he knew where his body was actually buried. Arius led them miles from the village to a specific spot under a tree, and they began digging. They found a skull that was cracked exactly where Arius' birthmark was. Everyone was shocked, and the neighbor was later arrested.
That's a plain case of reincarnation. That's what it sounds like to me, man. That's my first time, I guess, seeing like full hardcore evidence of it. He knew exactly where it was at. He remembered. That's like all the freaking yeah. Sounds like reincarnation. What comes around, it's gonna come back to you, man. You think you get away with something? The energy's gonna come back and get you. We learning today, Seekers.
The rarest human mutations that actually exist. About 25% of people have photic sneeze reflex, which means they can sneeze just by looking up at the sun. And about 3% of the population have no odor at all. Now, 80% of people have lines that form an M on their palm, and many people believe this is a sign of good fortune. However, 4% of people have an X on their palm, which means they'll become great leaders.
Most unusual places in the world. Located in Quebec, Canada, this forest has a pretty creepy atmosphere. It might be because the ground looks like it's moving, making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath. This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building. Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be a hiking area before it got flooded, so everything you see here used to be above water. Imagine being a fish and seeing this appear out of nowhere.
That's like my first time seeing a water tornado. It was like that close to the building. That's actually scary. And it stopped because there was no more water, so it can form. People have to be careful, man, these areas we're living in. Where's the sky? We know that's an edit. If y'all see some edits, man, call them out down below.
That almost no human can do. Number one, this requires very flexible fingers, and only 3% of people can do it.
I can do it.
This is known as the paralyzed finger trick, and only 1% of people can do it. First, place your hand on the table and then bend your middle finger like that. Now try lifting your ring finger off the table. Number three, this is where you raise one eyebrow like this guy, and only 5% of people can do it. Number four, this is where you make a V shape with your hand like this, and only 3% of people can do it. Now comment which one you can do.
One and three. I can't do the eyebrow like The Rock. That's his signature,
Creepy
right?
fact you didn't know about. This sound is just a cat meowing. Sadly, the cat died after the video of it meowing was recorded.
Ooh.
The owner slowed it down and made this an audio. If you don't believe me, speed it up.
We've heard that audio a couple of times. Now we know that's a cat meowing. It's
Be
creepy.
careful what you put in your body. In 2014, a couple returned to their home to find it trashed in baffling ways. There was lotion all over the door handles, all of their shoes had had their soles ripped off of them, and someone had dumped an entire can of paint all over the toilet.
Really?
Despite the obvious break-in, the police come and can't find any evidence of theft, so they leave thinking the couple's not in danger anymore. That night, the couple hears scratching underneath their bed and what sounds like a crying animal. Not wanting to find out what it was, they leave and call the cops, who come right back and start investigating the house.
Smart.
And they make a startling discovery in their bedroom. Wedged underneath the couple's bed was this 90-pound tiny little woman carrying a huge butcher's knife and a hypodermic needle. As they're taking this crazy lady away in handcuffs, one of the officers comes over to the couple and is like, so she was high on meth, and for at least 2 hours, she had been burrowing a hole in the underside of your mattress with that knife to get to you.
Ooh.
Disturbing body
Oh, they're
facts
good.
that will ruin your day. When you get a kidney transplant, they actually leave your original kidney in your body, and they place your third kidney in your pelvis.
Whoa.
And if you wake up because of a loud bang sound, you might actually have exploding head syndrome. It's not painful, but the sensation can be super terrifying. And according to brain surgeons, the brain is not solid at all. It's usually compared to the texture of melted butter. And during your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill up 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Damn, what
Things
the
almost
hell?
no humans can do, but I'm not sure, and if you can, then you're bloody weird. This is where you raise one eyebrow like The Rock. Only 5% of humans can actually do this.
Can't, not
Run
me.
this video if you can do it.
I can't.
This might be the most brutal way somebody has ever died, and whenever you do, don't look up the picture.
I won't.
Octavio de Silva was a 20-year-old soccer referee in Brazil, and on June 30th, 2013, he was refereeing a soccer game when he sent off a player named Josmir Santos Abreu, who was 31 years old.
He
Okay.
refused to leave the field and began a fight with the referee. Abreu threw a punch which made Octavio draw a knife from his pocket and repeatedly stab Abreu.
Ooh.
Abreu died on the way to the hospital, and when fans watching the game, including Abreu's family and friends, found out about his death, they invaded the field and stoned Octavio before decapitating him,
Ooh.
and then ripping his limbs from his body with just their strength and no weapons, and then put his head on a stick in the middle of the field. And what makes this worse is that a graphic video surfaced online shortly after the incident, showing medical personnel reassembling Octavio's body. The video and pictures are extremely disturbing, and I don't recommend looking them up. The way his limbs looked after being ripped off is extremely unsettling to look at, because you see strings of flesh, tissue, and bone because it wasn't cut off properly and it was just ripped off. This case is absolutely awful, but why did Octavio pull out a knife when somebody just punched him? If he didn't stab Josmir Abreu to death, he would still be alive today. But just imagine being literally ripped limb from limb by an angry group of soccer fans, and there's nothing you can do as they pull your body apart.
One of you is going to end
It's
up
a
dead.
crazy
This
case.
is a chilling statement that friends of this couple made prior to a horrifying turn of events. On the 25th of March 2022, 24-year-old OnlyFans model Abigail White killed her boyfriend. She stabbed Bradley Lewis through the heart with a kitchen knife when he told her he wanted to finish the relationship. When police arrived at the scene, she actually tried to tell them that he'd done this to himself, but she quickly confessed. She said that she'd never meant to hurt him. Abigail was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 18 years in prison. Shockingly, despite being in prison, she has been able to find a new boyfriend on the outside.
And people on the outside in, man, they called it. They said that relationship was going to end bad. Like, sometimes, man, we got to heed people's advice because they can see things that we just can't see. We think they're overreacting, but she hit the nail on the head. And look what happened. Another crazy case.
I thought that I had seen everything when it came to cults, but you are not prepared for what this cult believes. So HBO just released this documentary about the Love is One cult, which was run by this woman, Amy Carlson, who calls herself Mother God. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but she believed she was controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams, and this, like, yassified version of Saint Germain. Also, I cover a lot of dark stuff on this page, so you should follow along. She also said she could channel and get advice from this, like, galactic federation of dead celebrities. There's, like, Mr. Rogers, Carrie Fisher, Steve Irwin, and randomly Donald Trump, who is not dead. But Robin Williams is at the top, and so the cult believes they're getting a lot of advice through Robin Williams, so they'll say things like, so one of the beliefs that this cult has is that one day Robin Williams is going to arrive in a spaceship to take Mother God away so that she can spiritually ascend. He also told her that she can only be 103 pounds to get on the spaceship, which is why she's trying to lose a lot of weight. Eventually, Mother God starts getting sicker and sicker, and also bluer and bluer because of the colloidal silver supplements they won't stop giving her, and everyone thinks, oh my god, Robin Williams must be coming on a spaceship really soon to help Mother ascend. Eventually, she passes away, and guess what? Shockingly, Robin Williams does not descend in an intergalactic spaceship to come collect the 103-pound body of Mother God.
You don't say.
So the cult members just have her body. They don't know what to do with it. They thought Robin Williams was going to come. So they hang out with it for 12 days until the police finally show up. Anyways, this whole thing is a trip. You just gotta watch it to believe it.
So they was hanging out with that body for 12 days. Man, when people, when they deep into their groups and their cult things, man, they believe anything, everything. That's just a prime example. Man, I wonder how many other crazy things out there that people believe. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. Call out the edits, man, when y'all see him.
Imagine being an animal so vile and wild. Not only did you traumatize a researcher, everything he learned about you had to be hidden from the public for almost 100 years. That's what happened to George Murray Levick. He was on an expedition in 1911 when he ran into a group of Adelie penguins. It was the largest colony on Earth, and since nobody had ever spent a whole breeding cycle there, George decided to be first. Oh, he f***ed around, and he spent 3 months finding out. What he found out was Adelie penguins are 50 shades of foul play. No pun intended, maybe. He watched a male penguins attempt to mate with literally anything, including other males, injured females, and even unsupervised penguin chicks.
What?
Now, but what really messed him up was watching a male score with a past tense past expiration date female. Apparently, penguins aren't above self-service because he also witnessed one male get it on with an extra curvy piece of snowdrift.
to completion. He was so appalled, he referred to them as hooligan cocks. And remember, this was 1911. That had to be some kind of slur. George quickly realized that if male penguins understand consent, they could not care less about it, because he reportedly watched one female that was too injured to walk try to crawl away, only for two hooligans to catch up to her and demoralize both her and George. I don't even know why he did this, because like, what more do you have to prove? But at one point he did an experiment where he took the frozen decapitated head of a penguin and put it on a pile of snow just to see how low the flightless felons could go. The answer was low enough. George put every messed up thing he learned in a manuscript, and the British Museum of Natural History decided history was exactly what his studies would be when they vaulted it, until it was rediscovered almost 100 years later in 2012. All that trauma, and he didn't even live to see it get published. But the worst part, these are Adelie penguins. Yep, it all adds up in the end. He's the world.
The thing that got to me is, man, he did all this research. He wrote it down, I guess, to try to tell everybody, but they just decided to vault it. And then now got released. Like when they decided we should learn those things, that makes you question, man, what else they vaulted that they deemed that we're not ready to learn yet. A lot of information out there. Just something to think about.
Smallest prisoner, you'll never guess the terrible things he's done. Part 2. Caroline saw a 5-year-old son stood in front of the oven, his face full of shock and confusion. He tried to explain, but his words were slurred, and he could only give bits and pieces. Caroline and her husband immediately realized that their son had inadvertently shut his sister in the oven, and that he had turned on the oven's heat. Caroline rushed to the oven and quickly opened the door. The heat from the oven hit her, and she saw the tiny figure. Her skin blackened by the heat already dying, she hurriedly grabbed out her daughter and rushed to the car with her husband, driving as fast as she could to the hospital along the way.
Damn.
Caroline and her husband's hearts hung in their throats. They kept praying that their daughter would pull through. However, their world completely collapsed when the doctors told them that the child could not be saved. Due to the severity of her injuries, the incident left the Ashley family in deep grief.
Worst ways people died, part 1. In 2016, a mother pushed her son on a swing for 2 days straight, non-stop, until he passed away. It turns out that sadly, she was mentally ill and was then sent to a mental institution. In 2018, a man named Keno Butler and his wife, Wendy Thompson, were drinking when they started having an argument. Wendy then attacked him with a knife and got him in the hand with it. But she didn't stop there. She then decided to jump on top of him, smothering him with over 300 pounds of body fat and sadly suffocating him. Before I tell you the last one, your boyfriend or girlfriend falls off a cliff with $20 billion. You can only save one. Who are you saving?
Girlfriend, man, easy choice.
Let me know down below. In 2021, Karina Smith had discovered that her own husband had been being very inappropriate with their children when they were younger. You won't believe this. She then filled a pot with boiling hot sugar water and dumped it on him while he was sleeping. He didn't survive that painful revenge.
Most Scary Urban Legends, Part 6. This is Krasu. She's a Thailand legend. She's a female spirit who wanders the fields at night. At first you would just see her face, until you look down and she has no body, and just her internal organs. Her guts are usually covered with fresh red blood. Her face appears to look somewhat like a vampire's. She has very sharp teeth, and sometimes has a blue halo around her head. She is always hungry for meat, whether that be animal meat or human meat. Before she goes hunting, she hides her headless body somewhere safe, and she needs to come back to it before sunrise. And then she becomes a normal person again for the day with no differences from anybody else. One of her origins was that she was a princess who was forced to marry a high-ranked Seminese member who killed her people in battle. But she loved somebody else and was caught with them by the Seminese member. She was then sentenced to be burned alive. She then asked the witch for help, who summoned a spell on her immune to fire, but the spell worked too late, and everything was burned besides her internal organs and head.
What do you guys think? The guys believe those urban legends, man?
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night.
Here
when
we go.
Apollo 11 landed, it only had 20 seconds of remaining fuel. 4 months ago, a deceased rapper by the name Gunyu had his corpse on stage while fans were partying around his body. The average person wastes 5 months of their lives waiting for red lights to turn green. Cruise ships have morgues, just in case someone, you know, during the trip. If you have red eyes after swimming, it's not from chlorine. It's from the chlorine mixing with other people's urine. The furthest part of the ocean from land is Point Nemo. If you get stuck there, you're not coming back. Sunburn are your cells dying to avoid being cancerous. Most laugh tracks and shows are people from the 50s, which means you're hearing the laughter of dead people. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 14.
What he said about Point Nemo, man. Now I'm thinking about it. Was Nemo with the move? Is that based off that point? You guys know, man, our movies and medias now that I've been watching these videos with you guys, they're really based off of like some horrifying stories. That's something to keep in mind. And the thing about Gruner, I didn't even believe about that until I guess this video confirmed it. I remember seeing it trending, but I assumed it was fake. Why on stage though? Edit. We've been doing this, man. We can spot them out.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. If you were to be pulled into a black hole, the point of gravity from your head to your toes is so powerfully different that the closer you get, they start to stretch and pull apart. Ooh. It's called spaghettification. A body can swell to 3 times the normal size, especially if the person passes away in a bathtub. In the 1800s, photographing posed dead bodies was a very normal practice. The smell of vomit actually comes from butyric acid, as does the smell of Parmesan cheese. Ooh. If you shine a flashlight or smartphone on a newborn sea turtle for too long, it will start crawling around in circles, known as the ring of death. It means that the turtle's eyesight has been permanently damaged due to mistaking your lights for the moon that guides it to sea. By doing this, you have doomed that sea turtle to death right after birth. The bacteria in gingivitis is contagious. Be careful who you kiss. Armadillos can carry leprosy and pass it on to humans just by being in proximity. When it comes to heart disease, sometimes the very first symptom is sudden death, meaning you could be perfectly healthy and drop dead because you had heart disease and did not know it. The wondrous smell you get while cutting grass is actually a chemical distress signal. You're smelling the silent screams of your lawn. The outside of your eye prevents your immune system from ever knowing about the inside of your eye. If a puncture allows the two to meet, your immune system may attack and destroy your eye as an invader. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
This is
Top in with us, you learn it.
I've ever heard, and it ended up being true. But in Canada, there was this legend that one night a bunch of people saw a bright blue light in the sky, and the next day an entire village of people disappeared. It turns out that legend is rooted in something that really happened. This is coming from this week's episode. I have a whole series on urban legends that ended up being true, and it's a very scary listen.
About to check it out.
In 1930, a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle was riding in the river in his canoe when he came to a village he had seen before. Except this time when he came upon it, it looked like everyone had left in a hurry. Food was still cooking, and a bunch of dogs were barking and super hungry as if they had been left behind. But the strangest part of all of this was in the middle of the community, there was a grave that had been disturbed. And that reminded the fur trapper of a very scary story he had heard. The legend of the Torn Rack, which was this demon that supposedly stalked the area. So he starts looking for someone who might know what happened to these people. They were a nomadic people. It didn't make any sense that they would have left all of their stuff behind.
Okay.
And that's when he finds a man in a hospital who was potentially part of the village. The man is so freaked out. He won't say anything at first, but eventually Joe gets him to talk, and he recognizes one word that the man says. Tornrak, the name of the evil deity that was potentially in the area.
Ooh.
The police basically don't believe any of this, but they do acknowledge that before the disappearance, they did see blue lights in the sky that no one has been able to figure out what they were. I get more into the theories of what may have happened in this episode, and I also talk a little bit more about other urban legends that ended up being true.
Top 5 urban legends that turned out to be real. Chuck E. Cheese animatronics move on their own. Chuck E. Cheese has been long rumored to be haunted by animatronic figures that move on their own, even when the power is off. These tales were often dismissed as mere urban legends, meant to spook children. However, in 2019, a former employee's testimony brought an eerie truth to light.
Okay.
The employee recounted how during after-hour maintenance, the animatronics would occasionally shift positions or emit sounds despite being turned down. This phenomenon was actually captured on video showing an animatronic character moving its eyes and mouth when the restaurant was closed. The unsettling footage showed the animatronic's eyes flickering to life and their mouths moving silently. One night, the employee was cleaning when they noticed an animatronic had shifted slightly from its usual position. At first, they thought it was just a trick of the light or a mistake, but then the animatronic's eyes glowed eerily in the darkened room. A soft mechanical whirring sound filled the air and its mouth began to move as if it was speaking. Desperate to prove they weren't imagining things, the employees set up a camera the next night. The footage showed the animatronics moving on their own, their eyes darting around and their mouths opening and closing in the darkness. The video spread among the staff, many of whom had had their own unsettling experiences. Some reported hearing faint, childlike laughter when the restaurant was empty, while others felt cold spots and the sensation of being watched. If you have the guts, follow for the next urban legend.
Creepy facts about your body you're gonna wish you didn't know. When you go down a drop on a roller coaster and you suddenly feel your stomach drop, it's not just you feeling nervous. What you're feeling are your organs actually moving. Have you ever noticed that an older person in your life seems to have very long, large ears? That's because your ears will never stop growing. Across your lifetime, you will spend an average of an entire year just sitting on a toilet. When we see brains outside of the human body, they usually look pretty solid, but your brain, while inside your skull while you're alive, is actually very soft. It's like melted butter soft.
What the hell? They confirmed it back to back, so I'm guessing that's a part about our brains being like butters too, so I guess at the end it just becomes hard. I don't know, something I guess happens to make it looks like changes it into something else after. That's crazy, man. Especially when about with the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. That sounds really like, you guys know what that sounds like, Five Nights at Freddy's. I wonder if that's based off of that. But they said they was hear like children laughter, cold spots, animatronics moving. They set up a webcam too. I wish we had that footage, man. I'm gonna have to dive deep, man, to try to find that footage to check it out. Yeah, like I said, everything, man, media's games, TV shows, bro, it's all based off of something, a true story. It comes from somewhere, man. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a truth seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, so we can take off in this algorithm and continue to grow. Guys can catch you in the next one, man, doing daily uploads for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, man. I know I do. Guys can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do here, man. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with the channel, subscribing, hitting that like button, man, spreading the word about the channel. Great appreciate that, man. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
Fascinating as who failed or messed up were sent to work on Shrek. This was seen as a form of punishment known as getting Shreked.
Getting Shreked? You guys, seekers, man, that proves right there, bro. You never know what could happen, man. They got sent as a form of punishment, but Shrek, you know, that kicked off that franchise, man. So you never know, man, what life's gonna take, what road it's gonna push you down, man. One door closes, another opportunity opens, man. But that's crazy, man. I heard about that fashion guy, you know, who was in jail, but they liked him so much he became like a, I guess, big fashion star icon. I ain't kind of believe it at first, but they confirmed it. Tap in with us, man.
This mother and her 10-month-old baby were murdered by the cartel. 16-year-old Alyssa Perez was found deceased holding her 10-month-old baby, Nicholas, in a ditch in Tulare, California. Officers arrived to the home around 4 a.m. after someone called police about a large number of gunshots. When they entered the home, they found another victim in the doorway, and there were 3 more bodies inside, including an older woman. All the victims were murdered by a gunshot to the head, and 2 other women actually survived by hiding in a nearby trailer. It's been said that Alyssa tried to run away with her baby, but then she was found and murdered. Investigators believe that this was a gang-related attack and that they were trying to send a message. But after further investigation, police records revealed that the week prior, a search warrant was done on the property and guns, marijuana, and meth were found, which is why they concluded that this crime was drug-related. Police also mentioned that the manner and swiftness of the killings suggested that the men were experienced in murder.
So it was targeted.
What was the Cincinnati Crawler? In 1974, the Johnson family in Cincinnati noticed a couple of weird things happening in their home. Their 14-year-old daughter, Claire, would complain of seeing glowing eyes outside her window at night, and the feeling of being watched. One night, the youngest son, Timmy, was laying in bed in the dark when he felt the family dog jump onto his bed. Except that when he went to pet it, it wasn't the dog, but the Cincinnati Crawler, who immediately fled the scene. Till date, police think that the Crawler is responsible for the disappearance of 4 other boys in the area.
While some believe that he was an escaped convict, others believe that he was actually the victim of human experiments that may have been conducted by the family's dad. However, we only know what he looks like from a photo clear snap before he escaped, leading many to wonder.
We need to talk.
The Cincinnati Crawler. What the hell? And it's kind of weird that he's never been caught to this day, I'm guessing. Like, imagine, yeah, you think it's a dog you petting, and it's a whole person, man, just in your house wearing that type of mask. How would you guys respond? That's just something you don't even think about, man. How the hell did he get in a house? These are questions, man, we need to be asking ourselves.
Talk about this photo, because Josh Maddox was found inside this chimney with his knees bent over his head, and he had been there for 7 years. But what happened to him, and how did he end up stuck inside a chimney for that long? Allegedly, Josh went out on a walk one day and completely disappeared, until one day a builder from Colorado Springs wanted to demolish his old abandoned cabin, and that's when Josh was found curled up and mummified inside the chimney. But the strange thing is, even though his body was found with his knees bent over his head, there were no injuries or broken bones. The coroner who performed Josh's autopsy believes he crawled up the chimney himself, and he curled up in that position to protect himself from something. But this case gets even more bizarre from here. Not only was Josh found in such an unnatural position, but he was found only wearing a thermal suit. The rest of his clothes were in the cabin, neatly folded. So why would he fold up his clothes and then crawl up the chimney? The chimney also had a heavy steel mesh grate built into it, so it would have been impossible for anyone to slide back down the chimney. Many people disagree, but this terrible incident was eventually ruled as an accident, even though we'll never truly know what Josh wanted to protect himself from by crawling up the chimney. Follow for more.
Was that an accident? The hell?
If you're thinking about ignoring your gut instinct, don't. Here are 3 reasons why you should trust it. BuzzFeed user Vodka Sunshine said that when she was in college, there was this really cute guy in one of her classes. A week or 2 in, they had to work together on a small project, and she was pretty excited about the opportunity to get to know him. After speaking to him, though, she got a really bad vibe from him, but nothing specific that she could put her finger on. She said that she lost all attraction to him and knew that she should keep her distance. A month or 2 later, their teacher announced that the guy had been arrested for murdering a girl he was dating. Reddit user Helios21 said that he was at a club on a boardwalk with some buddies in Puerto Rico. He said that he just didn't feel right, and he told them that they should leave. They fussed and moaned, but eventually they all left. Before they even hit the parking lot, a massive shootout broke out inside the club. The front door guy was shot to death, and a few of the people inside were as well. It was literal pandemonium, people screaming and running everywhere. The ride back to their place was quiet, but they all knew they got really lucky that night. Reddit user BreakTD said that over 20 years ago, when he was 17 or so, 2 of his buddies came to pick him up to get the night started. He got in the back of their car, but as soon as he sat down, he had a feeling of impending doom rush over him. He said that he had never felt that feeling before, and never felt it since. He immediately asked to be let out with some excuse, and said that they would catch up later. He got out, and he said the feeling quickly faded, so he went on about his day. About 2 hours later, he catches up with some other friends, and they immediately tell him that the 2 friends that came to pick him up earlier were involved in a major car accident. Both were seriously hurt and in the hospital. The accident happened about 10 minutes after they tried to pick him up. They both survived. The car did not survive, though. It was struck in the passenger side rear right, where he would have been sitting. Reddit user BreakTD said that he was pretty positive after seeing the damage done that he would not have survived.
The orphan.
Hey, man, we gotta trust our gut feelings, because they, even though, you know, some people may try to knock and be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, but no, your gut feeling, like, if you feel something that's not right, or you feeling vibe is off or something, just trust it. As it was shown here today, man, it can literally save your life.
Was based on a real story. In 2007, a 33-year-old Czech Republic woman named Barbara Skrylova used her rare disease, hypoparathyroidism, to pose as a 13-year-old girl and tricked two sisters, Clara and Katerina Marova, into adopting her. She quickly took advantage of the schizophrenic sisters and manipulated them into joining a cult called the Grail Movement, which promoted child abuse and cannibalism, amongst other aberrations. Barbara soon got jealous of Clara's biological children and schemed to get rid of them. She broke things and pinned the blame on the two children and convinced the two sisters that they needed to be punished in the form of torture. Eventually, a neighbor caught the signal of a wireless camera and reported them to the police, but not before Barbara posed as a 12-year-old girl called Annika and got adopted by another family, fleeing the country. Eventually, she was caught and extradited to the Czech Republic. But did you know that
she pulled that off 2 times? How the hell does she do that?
If you've seen enough of my videos, you probably think you know what's in that suitcase, but you're wrong. In May of 2004, several pieces of luggage washed up on a shore in Virginia, each case containing the body parts of an unidentified person. Immediately, an investigation was launched, and a facial reconstruction of the body led to Melanie McGuire. Melanie, who was having an affair with her boss, had purchased a gun and shot her husband Bill multiple times. She then dismembered his body, packed it into 3 separate suitcases, and dumped them into Chesapeake Bay. And on July 19th, 2007, at the age of 34, Melanie McGuire was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
So crying, like, what the hell?
Cameron realized he was sentenced to 24 years in prison. Cameron was a normal 18-year-old boy living in Tampa, Florida in 2018. He had also recently graduated high school, and to congratulate him, his parents got him a black Ford Mustang.
Damn.
On May 23, 2018, Cameron and his brother Tristan had gone to a local gym. While they were there, they had also run into an old friend of theirs named John Burino. Once they were done at the gym, all 3 of the friends got into their cars. Cameron and Tristan were in the black Ford Mustang, while John was in his own car. As they approached a street light, both of the cars were side by side, and that's where they got the brilliant idea to do some street racing. Both of the cars sped up very quickly, reaching over 100 miles an hour.
Sheesh.
At the same time, a mother and her young child were crossing the street. Unfortunately, the cars were just going way too fast in order for her to make it across the street in time. Her name was Jessica, and her daughter's name was Lilia. And unfortunately, it was a direct hit. John was able to swerve past her, but unfortunately, Cameron ended up hitting her head on. All Cameron could do was watch Jessica and Lilia's bodies fly into the air as he hit them. Moments after the crash, Jessica's husband David Robinall passed by in his own car. At the time that he was passing by, he had no idea that his wife had just been involved in a major accident. He noticed there was a huge crowd of people looking at the accident, but he just wanted to get home and hope that no one had gotten hurt too badly. David then tried to call his wife, but she wasn't answering, and when he went home, she wasn't there either. He then figured that she must have seen the accident, so he went to go see for himself. And when he got there, that's when he noticed that his wife and baby stroller was right there in the middle of the street. Immediately, chills went down his spine when he realized that his wife and daughter had been the victims of this horrible accident. Unfortunately, Jessica passed away the same day as the accident, and Lilia tried to fight, but she passed away the following day. Immediately, both Cameron and John were charged since they were the ones driving. John took a plea deal and was given 6 years in prison with 15 years of probation. Cameron took an open plea, but to his surprise and his family's surprise, he was given 24 years in prison. And right away, people were absolutely torn about this decision. The judge believed that Cameron had shown no remorse, and he also had a history of racing recklessly. Meanwhile, supporters of Cameron believed that the punishment was way too harsh, considering that he was 18 years old when the entire thing happened. And today, he's still in prison. Let me know what you guys think. It's time for...
What do you guys think about that? I mean, he had a history of that, man, and I knew once he said it was side to side, man. People were really thinking it's Fast and Furious. I did it. It's not, man. It's real life. You just can't race all over the streets because you never know what's going to happen. And look at the end result.
For cookies and crime. We're still on the topic of love or lack thereof. And this case is Clara Harris.
Clara Harris was a Colombian immigrant and was named Mrs. Columbia Houston and worked as a dentist. She married David Harris on February 14th, 1992. Coincidence? I think not.
Alright.
David was an orthodontist, and together they owned a chain of dental offices. They had successful businesses, and the couple was able to afford an upscale home and lifestyle in Friendswood, Texas. On the outside, they seemed happily married. They had 3 kids, a nice house, and a couple of expensive cars. Life was great right up until David admitted he was having an affair with his former receptionist. Desperate to keep her husband, Clara tried everything to win him back. She quit her job and began working out. She dyed her hair, worked on her tan, and even scheduled a breast enhancement surgery. But when her plans failed, she got even more desperate. Clara hired a private detective to tail the 2 lovebirds, and on July 24th, 2002, she got a call. The investigator had followed the couple to the Nassau Bay Hilton.
Oh man.
And to add insult to injury, that's the same hotel where Clara and David had gotten married. Infuriated, Clara grabbed her keys and her 16-year-old stepdaughter, David's biological daughter, and sped off in her Mercedes. When she reached the Hilton, Clara stormed inside the lobby and attacked her rival, staring at her until they were escorted outside by hotel security. Still on a high of adrenaline and furious, Clara rushed back to her car, and as the adulterers walked away outside, she hit the gas, with her stepdaughter in the car. The car slammed into David, sending him into the air, and even before touching the ground, Clara hit him again. This time, she waited for David to land before running him over 3 times. Ironically, her private investigator was there and had recorded the whole incident. Clara's daughter spoke against her having been in the car. She was found guilty of murdering her husband, and on February 14th, 2003, a trend here, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison, the maximum sentence allowed by the jury's sudden passion finding. The murder was ruled a crime of passion. I don't know about you guys, but I find the ruling of crime of passion so interesting because it's a ruling that considers people's emotions and how sometimes it's so uncontrollable it makes us do crazy things. Clara was released on parole May 11th, 2018 and was released from parole this month.
Careful who you get in a relationship to, man. See, because I've been saying
This is part 2 on the case of 16-year-old Susana Morales and how a police officer has been accused of murdering her. Near Susana's body, police found that belonged to 22-year-old Miles Bryant, who was currently a police officer for the Doraville Police Department. When detectives discovered that a police officer was found near the crime scene, they were very confused. I mean, this can't really be a coincidence. They start looking deeper into Miles, and that's when they discovered that on July 27th, Miles actually reported as missing. He claims he accidentally left his truck unlocked and that someone broke into the truck, they stole his weapon, they stole his military ID, and they also stole his wallet. Now, Miles filed this police report at around 11 a.m. on July 27th, just 2 hours after Susana's family had reported her as missing. Now, what are the odds that this guy's weapon was stolen 2 hours after Susana was reported missing? And then that same weapon was found near Susana's body. Just didn't make sense, so detectives looked further into him, and that's when they discovered that Miles Bryant actually lived at the Sterling Glen Apartments, the same apartments that Susana was at the night that she disappeared. Not only did he live there, but he also worked as a courtesy security officer for the building. Now, all of this is no longer a coincidence, so on February 13th, 2023, 22-year-old Miles Bryant was arrested and charged for the murder and kidnapping of 16-year-old Susana Morales. He was also accused of filing a false police report since he claims that his weapon was stolen, but in reality, it wasn't. When Susana's family heard that a police officer was arrested for her murder, they just couldn't believe it. They said that a police officer being involved was the last thing that they ever suspected. They never thought to themselves, oh, maybe a cop did it. Like, this was just so surprising. Family says that they had no idea who Miles Bryant was and that they don't believe that Susana knew him. Police have also come out and said that they haven't been able to find any type of connection between Susana or Miles Bryant. This possibly is a stranger-on-stranger crime. So this is what police think happened. The night of July 26, 2022, Susana Morales did leave the Sterling Glen Apartments at around 9:40 p.m. Then, somewhere between 10 p.m. and 10:30 p.m., detectives believe that Susana encountered Bryant and that he possibly offered her a ride home. He did have his patrol car with him. He would always take it home with him. So police don't know if he did use his car or his power as a police officer to lure Susana into his car. Maybe he saw Susana walking home by herself and he decided to approach her and said, oh, I'm a cop, I can give you a ride home. It's possible that he did use his power as a police officer to get Susana to get inside his vehicle and to trust him. Detectives believe that somewhere between 10 p.m. and 2 o'clock in the morning on July 27th, Susana was killed. The cause of death has not been revealed yet, but at this time detectives don't believe that she was Yes, the weapon was found near her body, but they don't believe that's what killed her. As police dug further into Bryant, they discovered that he had a history of stalking and harassing women. For now, Bryant remains behind bars, and I just really hope that Susana Morales gets the justice that she deserves. Buster Murdoch has finally put out a statement. Buster is the son of Alec Murdoch, a former South Carolina lawyer who was recently convicted of murdering his wife and son, aka Buster's mother and brother. Buster testified for his father's defense in the trial, but there have also been a lot of rumors and suspicion around Buster's involvement in the death of a 19-year-old man, Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith was found dead on the side of the road on July 8th, 2015. One pathologist said that it seemed that he had been hit by a vehicle. However, the team that responded to the scene said that there were no vehicle debris, no skid marks, or injuries consistent with someone being struck by a vehicle.
Really?
There was no real evidence that he was struck, but his death basically was ruled accidental. About 2 years ago, when investigators started looking into the deaths of Maggie and Paul Murdoch, they also reopened the investigation into Stephen Smith's death. This was because of information that they learned while investigating the murders. There has recently been a lot of suspicion online that Buster and or Paul could have been involved in Stephen's death. Since then, Stephen's family have raised money to exhume his body and do a private independent autopsy. They are seeking a new, unbiased look at his body and an accurate determination of his cause of death based on facts. This will be happening soon, and they are hopeful that he will get justice. Since Buster's father was convicted of the murders, there's been a lot of suspicion around him and his potential involvement in Stephen Smith's death. Nothing has been proven, and it's all alleged so far. But today, Buster Murdoch came out with a statement. He said, "I have tried my best to ignore the vicious rumors about my involvement in Stephen Smith's tragic death that continue to be published in the media as I grieve over the brutal murders of my mother and brother. I love them so much and miss them terribly. I haven't spoken up until now because I want to live in private while I cope with their deaths and my father's incarceration. Before, during, and since my father's trial, I have been targeted and harassed by media and followers of this story. This has gone on far too long. These baseless rumors of my involvement with Stephen and his death are false." He continued, "I unequivocally deny any involvement in his death, and my heart goes out to the Smith family. I am requesting that the media immediately stop publishing these defamatory comments and rumors about me." So as I said, everything that has come out about Buster's potential involvement in Stephen's death is alleged. Nothing has been proven. Hopefully the new independent autopsy will provide some answers and clarity as to what happened to Stephen. And hopefully if he was killed by somebody and his death was not an accident, he will get justice.
What do you guys think, Seekers? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't adding up about the case, but they say it was alleged so far. I mean, we're just gonna have to check that up and see if anything else happened with that case. To see if there's more to it. Sounds like it.
Story of Khaleesi William, a 16-year-old girl murdered while recording what would be her last TikTok video. Disclaimer: the video is to bring awareness to Khaleesi Williams' story and meant to cause no harm. Please pray for the friends and the family of the victim. Atlanta, Georgia, gained national news in 2020 after a horrifying death of a young girl. In December 2020, Khaleesi Williams, a 16-year-old high school student, received an invite to a party that was going to be held at an Airbnb. This party would be chaperoned by an adult. Khaleesi's stepfather, Ronnie Savoy, encouraged her to go to the event since she had been confined to her house since the lockdown due to COVID-19.
Okay.
Supposed to be at an Airbnb with a couple of more friends from school and the mother. They'd have done this once before, so we was a little comfortable of letting her go the second time. And we spoke to the mother, and she said she was going to be there.
April Smith, Khaleesi's mother, agreed with her daughter getting some time out of the house and enjoying herself. The chaperone informed Khaleesi's parents that the event would be an Airbnb party for children, and that she would be responsible for everything. The parents felt at ease and decided that sending Khaleesi to spend the night would be good for her. At 12:02 a.m., Khaleesi is seen performing a dance routine in her TikTok video when someone suddenly entered her room without knocking. The teen looked shocked and afraid that suddenly stopped filming her video. The sound of gunshots could be heard from her room a few minutes later. Partygoers were unaware of what happened to Khaleesi. Two guys discovered Khaleesi on the floor of her hotel room. They carried her to the elevator while holding her from behind and supporting her legs. As of 12:27 a.m., authorities had been notified about an earlier disturbance at Hyde Regency. Following their arrival, the cops went to check on Khaleesi. She wasn't breathing and had no pulse. She was then transferred to the hospital, where she remained for some time. The medical staff tried to save Khaleesi's life but were unsuccessful. The 16-year-old was pronounced dead in the hospital. Khaleesi's parents called the chaperone to check on the well-being of their child, but were only informed about their child's death 8 hours after she passed. It was a shock to Khaleesi's parents to learn of what had happened to their daughter. They were enraged because the chaperone had failed to tell them sooner of the occurrence.
The hotel room was in her name, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well.
They didn't learn the group was staying at a Hyatt Regency until they received a horrific call the next day.
Like, this is the morgue. And I was like, the morgue? They was like, yes, ma'am. They was like, well, we're waiting on your daughter's body to come through.
What the fuck?
I'm like, whoa.
Khaleesi's parents say that call didn't come until 8:45 a.m. The teen was pronounced dead at 12:23 in the morning.
Khaleesi's parents were also unaware that the party had moved to Hyatt Regency Hotel instead of the Airbnb that was previously discussed. The parents felt like the chaperone should be held accountable for the tragedy that happened to their daughter, since she took responsibility for the safety of the children at the party, and her parents only allowed Khaleesi to attend the party on the assurance that the chaperone would look after her. The Atlanta Police Department reports that Khaleesi knew her attacker. Anthony Grant, the police spokesman of the Atlanta Police Department, reported as follows. Preliminary investigation suggests that the victim was inside of a room at the Hyatt Regency with a juvenile male companion. A verbal dispute occurred between both parties which resulted in the juvenile male fatally shooting the victim. The juvenile is a 16-year-old boy, but identity is being concealed. The 16-year-old boy was taken into custody by Atlanta police and taken to Atlanta Police headquarters for additional questioning. At this time, the boy admitted to shooting Khaleesi after they got into a heated argument. Police then arrested the boy and charged him with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a gun by someone younger than 18 years of age. The defendant is now being tried in an Atlanta court pending the court's ultimate judgment. Khaleesi's parents also hold the hotel staff responsible for her child's death, and they protested outside of the Hyatt Regency Hotel along with supporters to express their outrage at the hotel's negligence that resulted in their daughter's death.
I want the surveillance footage of what happened, you know, who went.
She should be able to get that footage. I mean, it's her daughter. There's a lot of misinformation, man, on our party part. They say it was at a B&B. It was going to be at an Airbnb. It turned out to be at a hotel. The chaperone, I don't know what the hell they were doing that allowed that to happen, man. It's supposed to be monitoring the party, and look what happened. You can't even go to a simple party nowadays, man. And they be so young, bro. And they be doing this type of things. They really truly don't think out their actions, because it's crazy. You guys, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a real one, supporting the channel, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button, man. Also, man, tell me down below once again if you guys don't like my new reaction style. Pause and letting the video play through. I'm just trying to give you guys the best content as possible, man. Also, man, let me know. Also, tell me down below if you guys like the new thumbnails, man. I'm trying to really up my game, especially, man, with someone coming up, man. We're grinding. Guys, gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, seekers. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to my channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button each and every video. You guys are pushing us in the algorithm, man. We're growing. Again, you guys can see, so thank you guys for the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
Can you imagine going in for a facial and later finding out you're diagnosed with HIV? At least 3 women have been infected with HIV after getting this cosmetic procedure called vampire facial in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And if you don't know what a vampire facial is, it's the procedure where they take a sample of your blood from your body, then separate the plasma and the red blood cells, and then they inject the plasma back into your face with microneedling. And there's a number of reasons why people get this done, a major one being to brighten the skin, improve fine lines, wrinkles, acne, and overall rejuvenate the skin. But after these women were diagnosed, an investigation was conducted, and it turns out that this spa was unlicensed. They also found unlabeled tubes of blood lying on the kitchen counter and syringes stored in the fridge along with food. It's also been said that this spa was reusing disposable equipment, which is most likely how these people were infected. This clinic had hundreds of clients, and it's possible that more people were infected, but they just don't know it yet. The clinic was closed down, and the owner was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Can we just talk about Gypsy Rose on Keeping Up with the Kardashians? So in a past interview, Gypsy Rose stated that she really wanted to meet Kim to talk about prison reform. And again, in case you guys all forgot, Gypsy went to prison for about 8 years for the murder of her mother. And since Kim has experience in prison reform, Gypsy wanted to get together with her so that they can talk about how to make the prison system a lot better. But is it just me, or is this getting a little weird? I know that there's people that truly support Gypsy, and then there's people who still think that she should be in prison. But at the end of the day, she did murder someone, and I just find it odd that she is essentially famous because of it. And of course, Gypsy did her time, but I've yet to see anyone else be released from prison after doing what she did and become famous. I know we talk a lot about Gypsy Rose on my page, and I do sympathize with her and everything that she went through as a child. But since her release, she hasn't really been low-key about anything, and I get it, a lot of people are very interested about her story and what happened to her. I was too, but now it's at the point where she has 2 TV shows about her life. She goes to these red carpets, and now she's on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I find it very, very interesting, and I just really want to know the point of this collab. Some people think that Keeping Up with the Kardashians has not been doing the greatest, so they brought Gypsy in just to get more viewers. What do you guys think?
I ain't gonna lie, I believe what she said about bringing her in to get more views, because I guess, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, everybody used to watch that show, but now, it's like, it's on streaming now, stuff like that. The game has changed. But what she said about Gypsy, bro, that is kind of like, she's hitting the nail on the head, because, like, once she got out, she damn near, like she said, she's famous, even though, like, we know what she did. But for her to get that type of fame of attention, it really makes you question things in the world.
People who gained real-life superpowers after an accident.
No.
Jason Padgett was a party animal who hated school and got terrible grades. But one day, 2 men savagely robbed and attacked Jason outside of a karaoke bar, leaving him with a severe concussion. The concussion caused him to become a mathematical genius and made him learn fractal geometry, which he had never been taught before. When Derek Amato was 39 years old, he hit his head after diving into a swimming pool and was diagnosed with a concussion and 35% hearing loss. After that, Derek began to see black and white keys in his head, and out of nowhere, he began to play the piano like an expert. Ben McMahon was in a car accident in 2015 and fell into a coma for a week. When he woke up, he could speak perfect Chinese, even though he had only learned the basics as a child. Tony Cicerio was struck by lightning after making a call in a phone booth. Within a couple of days, he was addicted to music, which he wasn't before. After trying the piano, he became a musical artist, composing his own music.
Superpowers exist in this world? What the hell, Seekers, man? This is my first time hearing these cases. You think cases like this would make, like, national news or something like that. But the one that kept hitting the head over the nails, when somebody got a concussion, they just, like, unlocked a certain part of their brain, and they was able to do certain things they weren't able to do before. We're gonna have to look into that, bro. Insane.
Have you ever wondered what happened on this exact date 300 years ago? Well, this is what happened in history today, part 1. Up first, on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. It was carrying Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, who would become the first humans to walk on the moon. Next up, on July 20th, 1793, Scottish explorer Alexander Mackenzie completed the first European east-to-west crossing of America north of Mexico.
It's crazy to me that on this exact day a couple hundred years ago, people were exploring the land that we call home. Next up, on July 20th, 1881, Sioux Indian chief Sitting Bull surrendered to the U.S. federal troops. Sitting Bull was an Indian tribe leader who led his people during years of resistance against United States government policies. He surrendered in exchange for amnesty for his people. Finally, on July 20th, 1917, the World War I draft was held. Secretary Baker, who was blindfolded, drew the first number from a bull, followed by many other numbers over the course of 16 and a half hours, and every number was a different man. And believe it or not, but on that day, 1.3 million men were called up for the draft. This literally happened on this exact day a little over 100 years ago.
July 20th is an important day in history that we have to mark down then. Some important things went down on that day. Crazy to think about how one day can change the course of history. Man. Edit. Call them out, man. Call them out down below in the comments when you see the edit, guys.
This is actually how World War III starts. I'ma be pissed. South Korea's just held an emergency meeting with their top officials to discuss on how to respond after North Korea flew almost 1,000 balloons carrying bags full of trash and human waste across the border. South Korea's national security director said that they've decided to take unbearable measures against North Korea. And while they didn't specify exactly what those unbearable measures were, some sources say that they will resume their frontline loudspeaker broadcast into North Korea. That includes criticism of their human rights situation, world news, and K-pop songs. Welcome to 2024.
One of the world's scariest animals just got a whole lot scarier. And Planet of the Apes is slowly becoming non-fiction. Because apparently chimpanzees are out here murking gorillas.
What?
Scientists in 2021 witnessed a troop of chimpanzees basically jumping a family of gorillas. And when I say gang, we're talking about almost 30 chimps pressing a family of 5. Keep in mind a silverback can weigh up to 400 pounds, could probably bench press your car. And according to witnesses, the silverback was eating chimps left and right like they were paper mache. But eventually the chimps overwhelmed the bigger silverback and even kidnapped a baby gorilla. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they did, but that family of 5 became a party of 4. And it wasn't even the last time. Because later that year, scientists watched the same group of chimpanzees do the same exact thing. Square up with a family of gorillas, kidnap a baby, and erase its name from the gorilla's census. And it's not like we didn't know chimps were about that. They often hunt bush babies and vervet monkeys, and we've even seen them use weapons like spears to do it. But it's one thing to hunt something that weighs like 5 Skittles. Going gorillas is another tier of Black Air Force activity. Which is why I'd rather be locked in a room with a jaguar than a chimp. Because at least a jaguar gonna make it quick.
People who gained real-life superpowers after an accident. In 1971, Edwin Robinson was in a severe car crash that made him completely blind and partially deaf. 9 years later, he ventured outside his home to rescue his pet chicken from the rain when he was suddenly struck by lightning. But due to the high-voltage blast from the lightning strike, he miraculously could see and hear perfectly fine again. During Adam Rayner's early life, he suffered from dwarfism, and at his tallest, he came in at 4.5 feet. But at the age of 21, he developed a tumor on his pituitary gland, which led him to grow to a staggering 7 feet 8 inches within a few years. This made him the only human to ever be classified as both a dwarf and a giant in the same lifetime. Corey Curtis got into a car accident that was so severe he fell into a coma for several days. Thankfully he came out of it, and when he woke up he could magically speak perfect French, even though he had only taken a few French lessons 12 years before the accident. This is breaking news from around the world that you definitely have not heard of.
Number 3, the IDF says a barrage of 200 rockets have been fired towards Israel from the Gaza Strip, most of which has been intercepted by the Iron Dome. The Israeli military conducted a retaliation strike of roughly 130 targets. Number 2, out-of-control Chinese rocket debris crash lands into the Indian Ocean just west of the Maldives, most of which was destroyed upon re-entry into the lower atmosphere. Number 1, a major pipeline was hacked and shut down by a group called Darkside, the FBI confirms. They demand ransom, and this stands as a wake-up call for other US companies about major cyber threats into the future.
What the hell? He got us when I'm talking about a major park act. That's something they must have tried to hit, because I didn't see that trending nowhere. It's crazy to think about, man. This type of information we're not even aware of, man. That's what I said. You gotta tap in with us, man. You're gonna learn something. That's crazy. Edit. Call him out when I see him, man. We've been doing this for a minute, man, so we know how to spot them now. If it's an edit, like I said, tell me in the comments down below. I want to see if y'all can spot them too. At least make the edits good.
Scary facts you didn't know. There are at least 10 recorded cases of someone dying from laughter.
Come again?
At some point in time, a stranger has thought of killing you. Selfies are responsible for more deaths every year than sharks.
No.
There's a shack called the Devil's Toy Box in Louisiana, and people who go in there supposedly lose their minds. When a person dies, they have 7 minutes of brain activity left in which they see a dreamlike sequence of their memories.
Oh.
Most serial killers are born in November.
You can only ride this roller coaster once. Julionis, your bonus, designed this roller coaster called the Euthanasia Coaster. It's capable of holding up to 24 passengers.
Ooh.
Once they're all on board, it starts to slowly ascend to the top, which is 1,700 feet in the air. That's just a little bit smaller than the tallest building in America. Once they're at the top, it gives everyone the decision to stop and go back down safely. After that, everyone has to manually press a button to start the ride. Then it falls at a speed of 220 miles per hour and goes through 7 loops that keep getting smaller. It's designed like this so riders maintain 10 Gs of force for a full 60 seconds.
Damn.
Everyone's blood would rush to their feet, leaving no blood left in their brain. This causes them to lose their vision and eventually black out and die. It was designed for people with incurable diseases who wanted a fun and unpainful death.
What? What the hell? How's it my first time hearing about
Psychological tricks that will change your life. Part 7. If you whisper to somebody, they will whisper back, even if there's no reason to do so. Yo, Dad.
I thought that the French protests were unhinged before, but this might be the single most hilarious way of protesting I have ever seen. As we all know, Paris is hosting the Summer Olympics, but a lot of French people aren't very happy about that. Because, and I only found out about this today, the Olympics is kind of a scam when it comes to a country actually making money. Don't get me wrong, it's great for global street cred, but, for example, when China hosted it, they made a net loss of 36.4 billion, and Russia made a net loss of 13 billion, and that's all taxpayer money. So when the public heard that France has already spent over 5 billion, and then that Macron wanted to spend another billion just to clean up the Seine River, so it looks good for the Olympics, they lost it, and the I shit in the Seine River protest began. On the 23rd of June, the French President Macron and the Paris mayor plan to take a ceremonial swim in the river to show off just how clean it is. So the protesters are now planning a defecation flash mob because, and I quote, after putting us in shit, it's up to them to bathe in our shit. Oh, and if you don't live in Paris, no bloody problem, because someone created this website. You type in how many kilometers you are away from Paris, and using a water flow algorithm, it will tell you precisely the day and the exact time you need to fit into the river to reach Paris at the time Macron will be swimming in it. Oh, I told you, and that is why I say here are some Google secrets that you didn't know about. If you type in Google space and click the first result, all of Google will start floating in space, and you can type and mess with all the buttons by throwing them around. If you type in Pac-Man, you can play a Google version of Pac-Man along with other games such as Tic-Tac-Toe, Fun Facts, Minesweeper, Snake, Solitaire, and much more for free. If you type in Thanos and click the Infinity Gauntlet, you will not only make some of the search results disappear, but half of Google will also be snapped out of existence. And if you click it again, everything will be reversed.
I want to talk about the Ofallon footage. On the eastern side of Missouri, a tape was recovered from a camera recorder of a missing man in 2002. This photo found in the footage has marked the most chilling mystery to have ever come out of this county. The man is pictured here. His name was Roy Hafer, and he was sort of an amateur investigator. You know, he would go to scenes with recent crimes, places where he could film, and he could sell the footage hopefully to a news station. And on an evening where he ventured to a hot spot where a woman had gone missing just a year prior, he would never make it home from that abandoned house. A police search was conducted by the following morning, as well as a search of the abandoned home and a search of this underpass where a significant amount of blood was recovered, but his body was not. They would also go on to find his camera recorder where they would find that final footage. This was the face seen in the last frame of that video footage.
You think you're old? Again, this is the oldest person that ever lived. Her name is Jeanne-Louise Calment of France. She was born in 1875 and passed away in 1997 at the age of 122 years old. She outlived both her daughter and her grandson. Her husband died in 1942.
Whoa. She lived to be at that old? Goes to show you, man. You never know. It's actually crazy.
Men who have bigger noses have been also found to have longer penises, a recent study suggests.
What?
The study looked at the corpses of 126 men within 3 days of death and measured a range of body parts. The length of the men's noses correlated to the size of the penis. And although there was a correlation between nose and penis size, they did not find a reason as to why this might be. So the question is, how big is your nose?
That was weird. What the hell? Manipulation, why did I do
These
that?
are the top 3 dreams you should never ignore according to science. Number 1 is dreaming that you're drowning. It's like super common. And it's most commonly felt that this sort of mirrors how you feel overwhelmed in your day-to-day life. But the reason you shouldn't ignore this dream is that it's usually a telltale sign you might have sleep apnea. 2, dreaming that you are being chased. This is believed to be unresolved childhood trauma. It's kind of like you're manifesting that trauma into a physical person who's chasing you in your dream. By the way, I am using the Dream app to define all of these. It's literally the most comprehensive and expert-driven app to analyze your dreams. And the 3rd dream you should never ignore, cutting your hair. It's believed that this is your subconscious being aware that you are about to experience a great loss in your life. It's kind of like your mind is warning you to protect yourself from the instability that's to come. And if you want to find out what your dreams mean to you, you can check the link in my bio and try Dream app.
See, are you guys gonna try out that Dream app, man? Like I said, the dreams that we dream. Hey, you said we can't ignore them, bro. I think that happened. I wonder if I had any dreams like that. I don't think so. Not that I could recall. But hey, man, and like I said, everything we see is a message, man. I guess when we dreaming, it's our brains trying to tell us a message to ourselves. So if you really think about it, man, we're trying to warn ourselves. It's like we have a warning detection system. If you break it down like that. Okay.
This is the scary story about the mom. One night, there was a 6-year-old girl who woke up in the middle of the night to her mom standing over her bed, staring down at her with a creepy smile on her face. The girl knew something was wrong, but she couldn't put her finger on it. The girl then said, "Mom." "Yes," she replied. "What are you doing?" the girl asked. "Watching you sleep," she said. "Why?" said the girl. The mom didn't say anything and kept staring at her, smiling. They each didn't say a word to each other for minutes, but still keeping eye contact with each other. Then the mom began to walk backwards, still staring at the girl with that creepy smile, and then went into the girl's closet and shut the door. The girl then got up and ran to her mom's bedroom and saw her mom asleep in her bed.
What's going on with that mom story? Should we see? Cause y'all gonna check that out? Edit. We're experts at this, man. Now, come on, man. You gotta do better than that. If you're gonna make an edit, you gotta make it good. We've been doing this for a minute now, so we getting better each and every single time. And when these videos plays,
Fun facts that will shock you. Part 1. Happy Birthday to You is the most often sung song in America. Sharks are the only fish that can blink with both eyes. Squirrels can climb trees faster than they can run on the ground.
Oh!
Celebrities who fake their death.
Who's on this list?
Michael Jackson.
That was MJ? The way they was just walking across the sheet, but he put his bags up like really close, so we couldn't really get look at his face. If anything, I thought it would be like Tupac Shakur, because you know how people be saying he would just went to a different part of the world. But MJ, Michael Jackson, we believe that? That's kind of a hard one to
Have you ever
believe.
seen a rash that looks like this? It's these little tiny bumps that look like fluid-filled blisters on your hands or feet, and they're
Whoa.
intensely itchy. You may have something called dishydrotic eczema or pamphylix. This rash usually starts in early adulthood, and it often comes in intervals of about every 3 to 4 weeks in response to emotional or physical stress, but the underlying mechanism is poorly understood.
Man.
Some general skincare measures include washing your hands without any jewelry on, using a fragrance-free gentle cleanser to clean your hands, pat dry thoroughly, and then place a heavy cream or ointment on afterwards to help retain some of the moisture, and moisturizing throughout the day. You may also consider wearing a cotton gloves with non-latex gloves over that if you are doing a lot of wet work. If you are struggling with this, it is a good idea to see your physician because they may be able to prescribe you different therapies. Some examples may include high-potency topical steroids, calcineurin inhibitors, JAK inhibitors, and biologics. Let me know if this is something that affects you, and please hit that follow button if you want to learn more about your health.
Well, apparently the adult film star Jessie Jane was found deceased with her boyfriend. Let's find out all about this one, y'all. Shout out to True Crime and Megan. Make sure you give her a follow.
Jessie Jane, an actor of adult films and other movies, has been found deceased. She was 43 years old and her real name was Cindy Taylor. She and her boyfriend Brett Hassenmiller were found deceased in their home in Moore, Oklahoma. According to reports, the Moore Police Department were called to their home on Wednesday to conduct a wellness check. This was after nobody had heard from them for several days, and police were called at about 11 a.m. It was said that Brett's employer reportedly asked for the welfare check after he did not show up for work for several days. She and Brett were found deceased upon police arriving at the home. A medical examiner will officially determine the cause of death, but it is believed they both died from a DRUG overdose. They do not suspect that any foul play was involved. Jessie was a model for David's Bridal for a while before she was in a Hooters commercial. She then eventually signed a contract with Digital Playground. She made her adult film debut in 2003, and then she started to appear in some outside projects. She was in Baywatch Hawaiian Wedding and Starsky and Hutch. In 2005, she also appeared in season 2 of Entourage. Furthermore, she made appearances in Bad Girls Club and Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, which are both reality TV shows. She retired from the adult film industry in 2017 because she claimed the industry started to change too much and they didn't pay as much money. She was remembered as a vivacious person who loved life, and Brett was remembered as a good guy with an amazing soul. They had been dating for quite some time. She was married to Rich Taylor from 2005 to 2012, and she leaves behind one child.
I saw this video going around about maybe you should check it out, man, about how these things about how like how people in the industry, how they keep like passing away, something like that. Cause that's kind of, I've been hearing a lot of cases about that recently. Really makes you think, man, what's going on in that. And we know, I don't want to go into that rabbit hole. That's a deep one, man. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Also, man, thank you guys for hitting that like button, man. Subscribe and follow me on my social medias, man, so we can stay connected together. I seen a comment yesterday how I've been saying how she this person was subscribed to the channel, but they were unsubscribed on YouTube, and they clicked that sub button back again. So tell me if you guys are having that problem as well, so I can try to check that out, see what's going on, man. But we're growing, we're posting daily, man. I appreciate the support. Guys, can catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, man. If you guys know the drill, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you, the supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, man. I'm seeing the growth. Who's subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, liking the videos. You follow me on my social medias, man. Like I said, each and every video, you guys help support. I see it. It pushes us in the algorithm, man. We can find more fellow seekers. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
If you haven't heard any crazy stories from Fresno, prepare for this one.
Okay.
There's video evidence. Back in the late 90s/early 2000s, weird sightings of a strange cryptid have been seen around Fresno, California.
Ooh.
However, in 2007, a surveillance video caught these strange creatures on camera with really long legs and small heads.
No.
I'm going to be inserting the video in like 2 seconds, so you have been warned. The show Fact or Fake actually did an episode on these creatures to see if they were real or not. These professional paranormal investigators could find no evidence that this was faked in any sort of way. They deemed these creatures to be completely unexplainable, and some people even call them the protectors of the forest.
Whoa.
What makes these creatures super eerie is the fact that we don't even know what they stem from, what their origin story is, where they came from, what they are, why they exist. But they do continue to pop up around this area, so if somebody was faking this, they would have to be really persistent. Don't forget to comment your hometown so you can be featured in the next Urban Legends video.
I just realized maybe like I said, every hometown has an urban legend of Fresno crawlers. You know, different things for different states. Man, that's creepy. That's eerie, man. Like I said, they know why they exist, why they're there. Like I said, they said they had a team behind it, and they couldn't prove if it was like faked or not. So, should we dive deeper into that one, man? Fresno crawlers. I'll have to keep that on the list, man. We don't go to Fresno no more, bro. Or we drop it straight through it.
This is why you need to watch out for a man with orange eyes.
Orange eyes is actually a cryptid that you can find in Ohio. It's reported to be over 11 feet tall and 1,000 pounds. It is said that Orange Eyes lives under a Cleveland cemetery, and the first time he was ever seen was on March 28th of 1959. On that day, he attacked 2 teenagers that were hanging out at Lover's Lane. They claimed he was large and hairy and had these bright orange eyes. He also had this matted black hair and a strange odor. He was last spotted in 1991 when he appeared to 2 fishermen in Mill Creek. And afterwards, he apparently ran into a nearby woods and he was never seen again. Some people believe he's actually an alien, but to this day, he still remains a mystery.
Orange eyes, man. We believe that? He said in 1959. That was a long time ago. We didn't know if people making up stories or not. Maybe say he was attacking lovers at the Lovers Lake. You know, these cases, seekers, man, like I said, sometimes we gotta dive deep into them, man. Some are facts, some are cap. But we keep our mind open. Tap in with us. You will learn some things.
Urban Legends Part 3. The Japanese legend of Hanako-san. It is about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako-san who haunts school bathrooms. Children may challenge other classmates to summon this spirit. Her physical appearance varies, but she's often described as having a bob and wearing a red dress. Her origins also vary. Some sources say she was a child who was murdered in the school bathroom by a stranger. Other sources say she was a girl who committed suicide in her school bathroom. So how do you summon this spirit? It is said that individuals must enter a girl's bathroom, knock 3 times on the 3rd stall and ask if she is present. If she is there, she will reply with "Yes, I am." The individual may then witness the appearance of a bloody hand. This hand may pull the individual into the toilet, and this may lead to hell, or the individual may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard.
We don't summon little demons around here. People do that.
Today we're talking about the white stripe. During the 1980s, this was a popular legend in Japan, and it scared a lot of children into not wanting to get their ears pierced. So a young girl wanted to get her ears pierced, but her parents were against it because they thought she was too young. After a lot of begging, her parents finally agreed to let her. They gave her money and told her to go to the jewelry store at the mall to get them pierced. But instead, she decided to keep the money and do it herself. With the help of her best friend, they heated a needle and did the piercings on their own. It was painful, but she was happy she got them pierced. However, sometime after, her ears got irritated and swollen, specifically her left ear. She went to the restroom to take a closer look and noticed something sticking out. It was a white string sticking out of her earlobe. She began to pull on it and realized it had no end. Finally, she used a pair of scissors to cut the string. Then everything went black. She couldn't see and she was rushed to the ER. She was examined and that's when the doctor said, "I'm sorry, you'll be blind for the rest of your life." That wasn't a white string, that was an optic nerve.
What? Really? A damn optic nerve? How'd that turn? That was a chilling ending. They said it was used to scare people on the kids in Japan, but pulling on a white thing and it was an optic nerve the whole time? She went blind? We're gonna have to check that one out.
The urban legend of the popular movie Totoro by Ghibli Studios. People say that Totoro is actually a Shinigami, which is the god of death. In
if you can see the god of death, it means you're either dead or about to be dead, which is why only a few people in the movie can see Totoro. So in the movie, when Mei goes missing and a sandal is found, Mei actually drowned. Mei's sister Satsuki can't accept the fact that Mei is dead, so she looks for Totoro and opens death's door, which eventually leads her to Mei. So when she does this, she basically gives up her life. Together, they visit their mother in the hospital. And so the reason why that their mother can see them is because she's also ill and close to death. Also take note that Mei and Satsuki both don't have shadows at the end of the movie, and only dead people don't have shadows. A lot of people say that this movie is based off of the Sayama incident in 1963. Ghibli confirmed this to be false, but it's still a really popular urban legend.
Crazy. Crazy ass movie plot.
Texas, the first ever documented black-eyed kid encounter in 1996.
Oh.
Children are creepy in any context. True. So any urban legend including black-eyed children is bound to turn some heads. In the late 90s, a journalist named Brian Bethel was working in his town of Abilene, Texas, when he encountered something that he'll remember until his last day. He was parked outside a movie theater when two children knocked on his window. For reasons he couldn't understand, he was completely gripped with fear. He rolled down the window and the kids asked for a ride back to their house so they can get cash for the movie. His fear made him hesitate, but the kids were persistent. They kept saying weird things like they weren't armed or anything. Once Bethel looked back at the kids, he was terrified to see their eyes had turned pitch black. They started screaming at him that they could only come in the car if he invited them in. And he quickly drove away. Smart. As a journalist, he spread the word and was surprised when other people wrote back saying they had experienced something similar. No thanks.
Black-eyed kids? We driving away, Seekers.
Today we're talking about the Mickey Mouse Lost episode. The episode is from 1929, and before I start, I just want to give a warning that the way I'm going to be describing it is kind of graphic. So it's called Strolling in Town. It starts off with Mickey walking for a while, and then he suddenly sees a man. It gets kind of dark really fast. He starts to take the man's eyes out, and gets covered in blood but just walks off. He then sees Minnie and takes her to go see the man. Minnie begins to laugh and then notices the man's bloody eyes. Minnie then asks Mickey why he did this. Mickey then holding the bloody eyeball says, "I thought it was a toy." The man laying there begins to laugh. Mickey then pulls out a knife and a gun and tries to kill the man. He shoots the man and stabs him in the arms and in his head. The man begins to scream and Mickey yells at him to shut up. The man is covered in blood. The camera zooms into Mickey as he says, "Go and die." The man whispers, "I hate you," then slowly dies. Mickey then throws the weapons at the man and leaves. An ambulance shows up. Minnie then asks Mickey if he wants to go to her house. He agrees and then the episode ends.
The last episode, we definitely have to search that up, Seekers, and
Urban
confirm
legends
that.
from every state. The Hatchet House in Portal, Nebraska. Legend says that in the early 1900s, a school teacher went mad and decapitated all of her students and placed their severed heads on each of their desks. She then removed each one of their hearts and threw them off a bridge into a nearby river. The locals call it Heartbeat Bridge. As you walk across the shuddering boards, it sounds like little tiny heartbeats. What state is next?
That's why I see, you know, that idea, man, of teachers or something getting weapons and stuff. That's why I was like, you gotta be careful with that, because if a teacher snaps, then the students are in trouble. We just heard that dark ass case. Heartbeat Bridge, man. Damn. Imagine walking over that bridge and knowing the history of it.
The creepiest urban legends from around the world, Part 3. Vietnam, the bloodthirsty grandma next door. It's said that in a rural village, a couple noticed that the meat they hung outside was going missing at night. So they decided to stay up late, and what they saw was the sick elderly woman from next door leap over their fence and begin devouring the meat with a demonic look on her face. A few days later, the couple went out of town, leaving their child with a babysitter. But upon their return, they heard screams coming from inside the house. When they ran in, they saw the old woman eating their child.
What the hell?
The real story.
This world.
So the story starts off with a mom and a daughter. The daughter gets diagnosed with oral cancer. The mom does anything in order for the daughter to get cured. But through hospital bills and treatment, the daughter only seems to be getting worse. Desperate, the mom starts turning to satanic rituals. She ends up making a deal with the devil. The deal was that if the devil cured her daughter, the mom would then have to make a cartoon character that kids all over the world would fall in love with, subconsciously letting the devil into their lives.
So last week I talked about the urban legend of the black-eyed children, but today we're talking about the far creepier white-eyed children. Now these creatures have a similar appearance to the black-eyed children. They're very skinny, pale-looking children, but instead of their eyes being totally black, their eyes are totally white. The black-eyed children you have to invite into your home, but the white-eyed children appear there on their own. These creatures actually possess the ability to control your mind. One theory is that you actually do let them in without even thinking about it because they control your mind and make you open the door. Once these kids are in your house, they're usually standing very still in a corner or against a wall just staring at you. And they can actually communicate with you through their minds. And they usually tell you that somebody you know is about to die, and then they disappear into thin air. Some people think these children are angels, others think they're demons, and some think that they're aliens. But all of their predictions come true.
We got the white-eyed kids, man. We got the black. What is next? Orange, blue, man. This about to be the whole freaking color spectrum. Like, what the hell? These theories, man. Whatever they call them, we gonna have to check them out, man. I've seen some like cases of the black-eyed kids, but this is my first time hearing white-eyed kids, and they have telepathy. I don't know if we believe that one. Hey, man, this world, you never know.
The banshee is a female spirit in Irish folklore whose bone-chilling scream is said to be an omen of death. If you hear her shrieks, it is said that a member of your family will pass away soon. Some people believe that each family actually has a banshee of their own that watches over them. Some stories say that instead of appearing as an omen of death, they appear to celebrate someone's death. They often appear as a woman dressed in a gray or white cloak with reddened eyes from constantly weeping. Can relate. The banshee is a tale I'm quite familiar with, and I always imagine them to be more of a nervous creature rather than a vicious one. Their job is basically to let people know that their time is up, so I always imagine them not being too fond of the fact that they're constantly warning people that someone they love is going to die soon, so that's why I depicted the banshee the way that I did.
Banshee. I just realized, but she's talking about the Banshee. You know, there's a comic book character, called the Banshee in DC Comics. I don't know if they have one tomorrow, but there's like literally one in DC Comics called the Banshee. And when she described it, I think that's her origins of how she get her powers and stuff like that. I'm telling you, like, there's pieces of media and stuff that we seen. It's placed in our faces, man. We just don't know. Like, they all comes from, I guess, that dark backstory, the folklores and stuff like that. There's always truth to them. And they adapted and made money off that. What does that tell you? You guys made it with me to the end, man. You're a truth seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, we did daily uploads for last month, man. First day of June, so I could continue to do these daily uploads for you guys, man. If you guys like them, to let me know, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification button, hit that like button, man. Also, man, to let me know that you guys like these daily uploads. Follow me on my social medias as well, so we can always stay connected and we can grow the Seekers together. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my the supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple things. You guys are pushing us in the algorithm, and we're connecting and find other people to join our community. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Let's seek the truth. All this place is abandoned? What the hell happened that caused them to be abandoned? You guys have any idea why they just like abandoned all those places? There was like amusement parks, freaking movie theaters and stuff like that. did like a natural disaster or something happen that caused them to just leave the area and just never reopened it? Something to think about. Claustrophobia. Ooh. The guy's claustrophobic, man. That was a tight fit. Based on real stories, man. Was that an edit, or was that like some, lost footage, man, of Peppa Pig? You guys know recently how, man, we be seeing these clips, bro, of like how these cartoons and stuff, how they be having secret messages, man, behind them. Wouldn't surprise me, man, if Peppa Pig was in on it too. It was just announced a couple of days ago how it's been on for 20 years, so some stuff went on in the background, man. That's why we got to pay attention to our media. Upgraded throughout time. Saudi Arabia. Celebrities, everybody age, change, but you know what happens in that type of work. Ooh, that was an edit. You know what that was. What happened? Have you ever been on a ride, man, and it got stuck? That's something you never want to be. I think that legit probably only happened to me one time when I was going up on a roller coaster, and I kind of, stayed away from that. After that happened, I said, I don't like that, and this ain't gonna happen to me again. These rides, I've had a couple of crazy stories about what happened on those rides. They're just like, that ain't for me. Tell me down below, man, if you guys are like roller coaster heads and y'all can do that. I can't. Edit. That was a family edit too. Crazy fact. Big bodies of water. Drugs might like make you age. Why they abandoning them, bro? We know why they look like that, man. After what they've been through. Probably back then they didn't have a term for it, but we obviously know what they went through now, man. It's just like the things you see over that, or if you partake in what happened over there, it changes you. So it's no wonder why they look like completely different persons before and after the before and after shot, man. Pitbull is James Charles? What the? That was Cat with Quavo. Makeup changes you. lockdown.
Give me your answer.
What would y'all rank as one of the most creepy Marvel MCU does, man? You know, fun fact, I'm an MCU fan, been keeping up with it for a minute, but I think for me, probably had to be the Doctor Strange and Dormammu scene where he kept, like, it kept happening over and over again. It was like a loop.
Give me your answer.
Hollywood changes you.
Give me your answer.
I don't know what happened to her.
Give me your answer.
You said Detroit from 2009 to 2013, all those look like some important buildings and stuff. They just got taken down, or they just didn't even pay attention to it, man. Just let it just break down. Maybe that was all part of a plan, because you know what neighborhoods those buildings are in. That doesn't help anything. We digging deep on that one. Oh yeah, why they just let it? You think it was part of Detroit, Michigan, the town they would try to fix it up, but they just literally left it there to rot. Why?
Give me your answer.
Zeppelin.
Give me your answer.
Oh.
Give me your answer.
This is anime? Oh, what the? Hell, she just throw?
Give me your answer.
That was not no damn birds. What the hell was that? I refuse to believe that was birds at the end.
Give me your answer.
That was in Italy, right? I've seen like pictures of that. Was it really just like, was it really full size before and something happened to it that caused it to crack? What the heck? Blowing our reality wide open, man. Was that an edit? We're gonna have to check into that one. Because I know that's in Italy, right? That's like, if I'm not mistaken, that's the Colosseum? If I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute since I checked that out, but if that's true, that's mind blowing. Tap in with us, you're gonna learn. It is.
Give me your answer.
Whoa! What the hell happened to Squidward? Dark Origins revealed? The hell?
Give me your answer.
Basically like Fear of Body of Water. I think I'm gonna carry that one.
Give me your answer.
You guys know what happened with those fires, man. How they can spread, they can literally change everything. I remember, like, and those especially keep happening in California. I remember it kept going viral. Like California, like it kept happening over and over again. People, and they actually thought that like how somebody was like actually starting them because it kept happening like too frequently. And wonder why California, that dark energy over there, you know, is in California. That's like the movie industry, LA, and stuff like that. So we don't know why the hell that was happening over there. Something to think about.
Meet moving part 2.
Frog legs? Throw it away.
Give me your answer.
Part 6.
The hell is that? Now, if y'all still eat the meat after we just seen these videos, man, we know the meat right now going around is fake. That's just proof. We just seen it now, 4K. And people still eat meat. I don't say how people can eat octopus and stuff like that. That just ain't for me, but now that I definitely see that, I ain't definitely ain't trying it.
Give me your answer.
Ooh. Fair squids.
Give me your answer.
People in those suits, we heard those stories about the Teletubbies now. I wonder what they went through.
Give me your answer.
We don't do bugs. I said that in the previous video. I don't do bugs.
Give me your answer.
What the type of parasite is that, man? They evolve in front of my eyes.
Give me your answer.
What's down in the ocean?
Give me your answer.
Oh yeah, place to go. OG memories. Toys R Us. Remember about Toys R Us, man. Those are some fond memories. Then like Toys R Us, man, it like declared for bankruptcy like how many times? But it keeps going away, it keeps coming back. But I think Toys R Us is something, man, that should stay. Every kid should experience that. I remember going to Toys R Us as a kid, looking around like, damn, all these damn toys just for me. And Blockbuster. Actually, I don't remember. I remember seeing Blockbuster a couple of times, but those are some fond memories of places, man. We gotta keep some of them, man. Just, around for the old, just for the memories. We know, like, everything's changing, but it's good. Just, just to keep those places around, just for memories. Seekers, YouTubers, supporters, man. That's it for this video for you guys today. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video today, man. I greatly appreciate the support. So, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man. Like I said, I'm greatly appreciating the support you guys are showing in these videos. Like I said, let's continue to grow. Let's continue to get bigger and better. Tell me down below, man. I'm always open to any and all forms of criticisms, just to make the channel better. I'm trying to, you guys, like I said, I'm still on this journey together with you guys, man. We're learning and growing and evolving together. So that's what I love about YouTube. Guys, gonna catch you in the next videos. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.